Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Schrader. Welcome. I am the professor for Biology 234 this fall semester 2014. And if you're hearing this message, you must have missed the first day, or I missed the first day. I'm excited to have you here. I'm going to go over a few things, little expectations for the course and the syllabus, and we're going to jump right into the first lecture. This first part will be just an intro to the course and where to find some things. This semester has been quite a challenge. We've changed some of our software components to the college, and it's been a little difficult, but we'll get through it together. If you recall, our learning management system has been Angel. For those of you who are familiar with Angel, it doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. We now have Canvas. So I will be teaching you and myself Canvas this semester. So let's start right now. You notice here that we have the college webpage. So you're going to go ahead and log into your MyAACC account. Type in your username and password, sign in, and this is something similar to what you will see. Not exactly the same, but similar. On the right hand side, you see My Classroom Virtual Campus. You will click Access My Courses, and it should take you right to Canvas. Now this is the Canvas main page. When you get here, you have to click on Courses, and you'll find your course. Now I have all the courses I teach. What you will see are just the courses that you have that use Canvas. So you'll look for your Biology 234 in your section. So we'll go ahead and click one of those. And this is something similar to what you will see. The first thing you're going to want to do is go over to the left-hand side here and click on Syllabus. And the syllabus is posted as a PDF file, which means you can open it, you just can't type on it. You can print it, you can save it, you can do whatever you want with it. It's yours to do with whatever you want. I'm going to open it up in a new window. Tell it to use Adobe Reader, which is free, by the way, if you don't have it. It'll prompt you to download Adobe Reader if you don't have it. And go ahead and download. There's the syllabus for the course. Now, typically what I do is I'll go through the course syllabus, but as I do it, I will clarify expectations, the policies of the course. I will not go through every word, but I do expect that you will read it. In fact, the last page of the syllabus, you sign and say that you did in fact read all of it word for word and you understand and will abide by the course policies. Just so, the reason I have that is so that when something goes wrong or you are not sure about the course policy, you have something to look to, and you have told me that you are an informed consumer. In other words, you are staying in the class knowing all the things that you have learned from the syllabus. That way there are no surprises. I don't like surprises, so I'm assuming you don't either. So I do that for that purpose. Now, the syllabus has everything on it you could imagine. It has where you find me, the expectations of the course, the when the last drop date is, the entire schedule for the semester of what we're going to cover and where you'll find it, how to keep track of your grade, where your grades will be found, all that neat stuff. So I'm going to go through that today. First off, most of you, but not all of you possibly, have had A&P 1 here at the college. Some of you have probably had it with me. Um, that is a prerequisite for the course. In fact, if you get below a C, uh, I have yet to have someone pass A&P2 that has gotten below a C. So that's an A&P1. So that's definitely something that you want to consider, and we should talk about if that does in fact explain your situation. If you've gotten a C or better, then you are set up for a better scenario of passing the course. Now, A&P2, this is the second part of anatomy and physiology. So as most of you could guess, it's harder than A&P1. You can usually say that with courses that are in sequence, but this one, most people find harder, but some don't. Some find it as equally as hard as A&P1. I don't think I know anyone that really says it's easier than A&P1. What makes it harder we're going to talk about shortly. So let's start with the syllabus. Are you ready? So this is me, Dr. Schrader. This is where you'll find me, in this building, the main building, Florestano 231, where your class is held. That's a little office next to the actual classroom where we meet, which is room 229. This is my office, Dragon 244, in the Dragon building. That's where my main office is. So you'll find me there also. There's my phone number. It's not the best way to get a hold of me, but I put it there just in case. Science office phone number. As far as me communicating with you and you communicating with me, it'll be through Canvas email. So if you want to say something to me, you can log into Canvas, send an email to me, and I will communicate back to you through Canvas. If you're like me and you hate checking multiple emails throughout the course of the day, you can, inside of Canvas, link the main email that you check to the Canvas email. In other words, if I send you an email, it'll go send you a message to your Canvas through your Canvas page to your email that you normally check. That way you don't have to check multiple sources. That's the way I do it. So anyway, that's the way I'll communicate to you, and that's the way you'll communicate to me, through that Canvas email. I showed you how to get onto the Canvas page. That's going to have lots of information on there. Learning objectives for the unit that we're doing. Any PowerPoints that I may post. Any laboratory aids, things that might help you in lab or things that might help you in lecture, will be posted there. Assignments also will be posted there if we have any this semester. Another thing is that's where I post grades. So as soon as you take the exam, as quick as I possibly can, I grade your exams and I post them on Angel, and that way you have access to your grades throughout the whole semester. Another thing that is required for the course is the Mastering A&P. This particular software comes with the textbook that you purchased. Now, it doesn't come with a textbook that you purchase from Amazon or other places unless you choose to have that option. I think it's around $80 to obtain it by itself, which is ridiculously expensive. So if that is you, if you are someone who does not have a Mastering A&P access code, then come and see me, and we'll talk about some options. But that's something you would definitely want access to. It has great study tools, lots of videos on complex topics. And in fact, one of the labs that we do this semester comes straight from the interactive physiology, which is found on the Mastering A&P website. Some of you may have the CD, or the DVD, I should say, of the interactive physiology, but from what I understand, they are no longer producing that. So there you have it. Next, class meeting. Well, that depends on what class you're in, right? If you're the Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, this is you. If you're the 10 a.m. class, then it'll say 10 a.m. to, so forth and so on. It'll have your time there. These are my office hours. If these times don't work for you, then you can communicate with me and we can try to work out something. One of my favorite things to do is to talk to you and try to help any concerns you have, whether it's with the topic that was presented in class or your career choice or whatever it is that you might need some assistance with. I would love to help you. So don't let these times deter you from coming to see me. We'll work something out. Fortunately for you, you get to use the same textbook in A&P 1 for A&P 2. There is a new edition, a 10th edition. We are not requiring those students who purchased the 9th edition to go and purchase the 10th edition for A&P 2. That's just not right. So we're not doing that. So you get to keep your old edition. The lab manual has to be the current edition. So if you are repeating the course, you have to go and buy the new 234 lab manual. Some optional material is this atlas, histology atlas. Some of you may have used it for A&P 1 for sure. The histology exam, it was quite useful. If you have that, great. We use it for some of the systems in A&P 2 as well, especially the digestive system. If you don't have it, you can consider getting it, but it's optional, it's not required. So let's talk about the meat and potatoes, the important stuff, right? How is A&P 2 different than A&P 1? Well, in A&P 1, you had the bones, the muscles, quite a bit of memorization that you were required to do, and it was a pretty large volume of information. So if that is your claim to fame, if you're really good at that, if you're good at memorizing, that was great for part 1. But if you recall, the last part of part 1, where you dealt with the autonomic nervous system and the integration of all the nervous system parts, that's what we call in the business conceptual thinking. In other words, it's not just memorizing, it's knowing what you know, understanding what you know, and being able to explain what you know. That's a little different, right? So that was quite challenging for many folks. A&P 2 is that the entire semester. There, of course, is anatomy, but it's a small percentage, anywhere from 20 to 30% of the grade comes from the identification. The rest of it is this conceptual component. You have to be able to understand material more than just memorize it. There's a lot of complex integrated concepts in A&P 2. If you're not willing to commit to reading ahead, trying to understand, confirming that you understand, and then testing that before test day, A&P 2 is going to be very, very challenging for you. We have, of course, ways to help you do that, but committing to do that is the first step to saying, okay, I know I need to do more than I have in A&P 1 to be able to be successful. I'll tell you the reason why that's so important. Most of you want to go into a professional career, whether it's in nursing or physician's assistant or physical therapy or laboratory tech or whatever field you're planning on going into. It requires you to have knowledge of the prerequisite material. Having taught in some of those professional areas, I've realized through many years of dealing with graduate students and professional students, it is the Achilles heel, or if you're not familiar with that term, it's the the breaking point for students that come into a professional program. And it's very sad. I've seen it multiple times where a student who comes from a program who they've done really well, of course they got into the program, right? So they must be near the top or at the top. And they take a graduate or professional level course that assumes that they understood the material that they learned in A&P 1 and 2. And when they didn't, they fail miserably. And in most cases, they are removed from the program. Now that's painful. Imagine, if you will, you paid 10 grand your first semester at your professional school, and your first classes are testing your knowledge in A&P 1 and 2, and then they're going further, and you flunk. And when you flunk in professional school or graduate school, you're out of the program. In fact, most require a B or better. And I have dealt with a few folks that have been in that situation, and it is not pretty. Because you go in thinking that you have what it takes. So I am telling you this not to scare you. I'm telling you this to encourage you. To encourage you to take this seriously. Take the charge that you need to understand this material seriously. So that's my soapbox. I will give you some studying techniques, some ways to be successful. That'll be when we meet face to face. But I'm just encouraging you to prepare your mind and your schedule to commit to learning this material. You notice here on the syllabus it says Angel. I'm going to change that to Canvas. But this is a web-based course, so that we meet face-to-face every class period. But you'll be required to use the Canvas learning management system to access course information like the syllabus or assignments or announcements or videos like this one. So make sure you can do that, okay? That's really important. But if you're listening to this, you probably can. Okay, course policies and classroom behavior. I'll quickly go over this because you guys are not only mature students, you are deep in the 200 level courses. So you're not new to the college experience, and certainly not new to the knowledge of providing a good classroom environment, right? So I'll just be quick about this. You need to be on time. Don't leave early. I do take attendance. If you show up late and I've already taken attendance, you're not here, so don't be late. Leaving early, sometimes I don't take attendance until later. It's just you're committing to the start and finish of the class, each class, that time frame. That's what you're committing to. So I'm going to assume that you're going to be here on time and not leave early. Obviously, there are exceptions to that, but those are just that, exceptions. Patterns with that will definitely not be to your benefit. It's a 2-hour class. During that time, I expect your phones are off. If anyone has to get in touch with you, they'll know where you are. We have phones in every classroom now, and they're able to call and let me know if anyone needs to be getting a hold of. If you have an extreme situation, you can leave your phone on silent, and we can talk about that procedure. But I'm going to assume that we don't have any of those, and your phone will be off. Talking during class. I love questions. I love conversation. In fact, that's the only way I want it to go. I don't want me talking the whole time like this. This is just crazy, right? I wish you were talking with me, but you're not. So in the classroom setting, I want there to be discussion. However, I want it to be between the person who is speaking and you, not you and the person next to you while the person is speaking. So if I'm standing up front and lecturing or talking, you're not going to be talking to your neighbor. That's just not good. And if one of your classmates is asking a question, or they actually are standing up presenting something, which you will be doing, by the way, you don't want to be talking to your neighbor. During lab time, of course, that's different. And I'm not formally in front of the room, so you can definitely talk to each other. I encourage that heavily. Here's a list of behaviors that are not conducive of learning. You can look through those. Yes, sleeping in class is one of them, so don't do that. You can read the policy of attendance, right? Strongly recommended, but you're adults. If you don't come, you have natural consequences. I'm not going to redo the lecture. I'm not going to provide you with things that you can obtain from other classmates, right? So here's, let's read it together. If you do miss class due to unavoidable circumstances, it is the student's responsibility, aka yours, to make arrangements and obtain the notes from other students, not me. Right? Any other course material is your responsibility to get. Now, if it's anything that I posted, you'll have access to it on Canvas, but anything else you need to get from your fellow classmates. If you don't show up for multiple classes in a row without communication, I will assume that you don't want to be there, and you'll receive a grade of FX on your transcript. So it's an F for the course. I haven't done that but maybe once or twice in my 7 years here, so I'm assuming that's not going to happen, but I encourage you to communicate. It's always good. Let me know what's going on. I don't need details. You can share what you want or don't share what you don't want, but at least let me know that you're not coming. The last day to withdraw from class is November 17th. And anytime after that, it becomes more difficult. So before you make that decision, as you'll see later on in the syllabus, you should definitely talk to me. I'm going to say that multiple times, so don't forget. Okay, how do I give you a grade? Well, I never give you a grade. You earn it. That's right. I heard something funny from on the radio. It says most of the time when students get an A, they say, I got an A in that class. And then if they get a D, they say, the professor gave me a D. It's funny how that works, isn't it? You earn it if it's an A or B or a C, but if it's below a C, the professor gave it to you. I argue that you earn whatever grade you get, whether it's A, B, C, D, or F. So how will I assess your grade is based on tests. We have, I think it's 7 tests this semester, plus a cumulative final. Those tests will have objective questions like multiple choice, fill in the blank. There'll be short answers, short essay questions, matching. I got all kinds of stuff on the tests, just to make sure that you understand the material. Now listen to this next part. Most of the questions will be derived from class presentations, although questions may also come from assigned readings. So that means you are responsible for learning and understanding the topics that are presented to you. So it's not like I give you a review sheet and says this is what you need to know. I say this is the topic that we're discussing. Make sure you understand it to the level that was presented to you. Okay? Let's see. Don't turn in something late because you'll lose lots of points. Oh, there's something important here. Better read that. It says, since bonus point opportunities are offered during the course, students are given ample chances to pull up their grades all during the semester. Thus, at the end of the semester, the course average is taken as it is and is not moved to the next letter grade, i.e. a 79.4% is a C. It will not be bumped up to a B. There will be no extra credit opportunities at the end of the semester to bring your final grade up. I put this in there because inevitably there's someone at the end of the semester that comes to me and says, I have to have a B to get in this program. I have a 79.4. Can't you just give it to me? And I think you recall what I said in the very beginning of this grade discussion, that I have never given a grade out in my 12 years of teaching. I'm not going to start now. You have ample time during the semester to get your grade where you want to be. Don't get in that position. I hate it. I find no joy in writing C as your grade that you earned when you have a 79.4. I find no joy in that. But it is the grade that you earned. If I give you something, then you didn't earn it, right? So don't be mad. I want you to have a B. Oh my goodness. I do. I really do. But you have to earn it. So don't be mad. Okay. So we got those 7 tests. The cumulative exam is everyone has to take it, and it counts. So that's a little scary, but we'll work through that together. Don't worry. You will be well prepared to take that cumulative final. The makeup policy for exams. The makeup policy is there's no makeup exams. If you miss an exam, if it's an approved excuse, you can replace that missed exam as long as it's not the last exam, the 7th exam, I think. You may replace it with the cumulative final. If you miss the 7th exam, you're stuck with a 0, so don't miss it. I would highly recommend not missing an exam because if you don't miss an exam, that 7th exam will replace your lowest grade. In other words, you have 7 exam grades plus the cumulative exam grade. If that cumulative exam grade is higher than one of the first 6 exams you took, it'll also replace that lower exam. It'll count twice, which can be very helpful. So you're encouraged to do well on that cumulative final. And it helps you if you had a low exam during the semester. Okay, exam day policy, you'll read through, you will look through it and see what's expected. You know that there are certain things you can't do during an exam, right? And that's all right here. I'll let you do that. Cell phones is probably one of the things that people forget. You got to turn it off. Any kind of vibrating or noise that comes out of your phone is going to cost you 5 percentage points. So don't have it on. If there's an emergency, of course that's happened sometimes, you'll put your phone on silent, complete silence, and you'll leave it with me. And if it lights up, I will come get you, and then you make the choice. If you choose to answer a call during an exam, you have forfeited the rest of your exam time. Now, that sounds harsh, but it's not. I have to assume that anyone who makes a phone call is potentially asking someone for an answer, right? That's the college policy. That's why you don't have phones during the exam. There are situations where you have to make that choice. That's okay. That's why I have the cumulative final can replace a lower exam. Because things can happen. But just know that that's the policy. Okay, and you can read through the rest of this. Grades. I make it so easy to keep track of your grade through the semester. Super easy. I hated those complicated courses where you had to have a PhD in mathematics to figure out your grade. So I make it easy. Each exam is worth a certain amount of points. That's the possible points. You earn a certain amount of points. To figure out your grade, you keep track of your exam grades, the number that you earned, and then divide it by the number of possible points you could have gotten, and multiply it by 100, and that's your grade. So for instance, if I got a 50 out of 100 on the first exam and a 70 out of 100 on the second exam, I would take 70 plus 60, that's my point, or 50, that's my points, that's 120, divided by the possible points, which is 200. So you would take 120 divided by 200 times 100, and that would give me my percentage for the course. So each exam, you will have your points, or your points earned, and you will be given the possible points. So you can keep track the whole semester, which is really, really cool. That's another reason I like posting on Canvas, because they're always there. If you're ever wondering where you are in the class or how you're doing, the grades are right there for you to check. And I like you being an informed consumer. I told you withdrawal policy, November 17th, the last day. Please consult me before withdrawing. You know, Canvas sometimes has a funky average. At least Angel did. Maybe I can make it work better with Canvas. But what if it calculated it wrong? And you make a decision because you know that you need a B or an A to get into this program, and you have a low C, which you think you have a low C, and there's only 2 exams left, and you know you can't bring it up to a B, so you drop. But you calculated wrong, and you actually had a B in the course. Oh, it's happened before. That is awful. So please talk to me before you do it. College closings. If the college is closed, of course we don't have class. If it's open, I will be here. If we have any class time left, we are required to meet. Now, if it's less than 15 minutes, I'm not going to hold your feet to the fire for not showing up. But if we got 30 minutes left, you best believe that I will be holding class. Okay, there's some numbers that you might need. Compliance, if you have any accommodations that I need to be aware of, you need to let me know as soon as possible. And they have to be on official, signed, approved AACC paper. They have to be legit. Otherwise, I can't do anything. I am not allowed to do anything. Academic honesty. Well, the last 2 years I was on and chaired the Academic Integrity Review Committee. And I have to tell you, I've been teaching at AACC for 7 years as a full-time faculty, and I have not had one semester where I haven't caught someone cheating. That's just not good. I'm really hoping that there's going to be a semester where I don't catch someone cheating. I go out of my way to catch cheaters. And I say this every semester, and people still don't believe me. And then when I catch them, here's what it says. A final grade of F will be assigned for the course in case of a failure to abide by the academic integrity policy. That means you failed my course, but it gets better. I also formally charge you with it, and it is placed on your file, and any institution that asks about your academic integrity will receive that form. That's a big deal. That means it follows you when you leave AACC. So think twice, 3 times, 4 times before you decide to cheat in my class. I hope you get that message. Now, if you are thinking about cheating and you come to me and you say, Dr. Schrader, I am really struggling and I am so tempted to look at the person next to me or bring in stuff that I can do better on the exam, we will talk and I will help you through it. And there will be no charges, nothing. You're still in good standing with me. But if I find out, you will be, I don't negotiate. If I catch you, you will be prosecuted to the full extent of the syllabus and the college policy. Uh, what if you are a student and you notice someone cheating? Well, it is your responsibility to communicate that. This is a team effort here to ensure that AACC is an honest institution. And I have to say, more than 50% of the people that I catch are from other students telling me. That's quite powerful. That means you care. And I tell you what, if you're studying hard, if you're sacrificing time with your family and someone's cheating, you're going to be upset. And the correct thing to do is to tell me. Okay? All right. So you read through this. You're going to tell me that you've read through this and you understand what cheating, plagiarizing, fabricating, impersonating, facilitating, all those things are, right? You will. And if you're not sure, here's a good website on testing whether or not you understand what plagiarism is. It's fun and quite enlightening. Now here's the schedule for the entire semester right here. You know that today is introduction and red blood cell introduction, and then what the next class is and where you find the information. It gives you the whole semester, which is quite nice. So you're not surprised, or you know what we're doing each day. Now obviously it might vary a tiny bit, right? It says at the bottom here, right? Hold on. No. Minor changes in scheduling may be necessary as the semester progresses, but we're going to try to stick to this thing pretty closely. It tells you when the exams are, okay? So you know you can plan out your schedule. That may change, but it's not likely it's going to change too much. I would encourage you to look through this and set a schedule for the semester. When you're going to study, what you're going to study, what do you need to accomplish during each study session. Those are really important things to do ahead of time before you get too caught up in life. And I'll talk about that more next class. So there's the schedule. Final exam. This is something we get to talk about, and you have some say in what happens here. Normally, in classes, the last day of class you'll get your last exam, and then during finals week you'll get your final exam. In this class, due to the volume of information that has to be presented, there's another option. This other option is that I give 2 exams during finals week. So instead of you having your final on the 11th, you have the last exam on the 9th and your cumulative final on the 11th. Now, that's not great, I admit it, but the alternative is that I give this exam on the 5th. That means you lose 4 days of studying, and this material would have to be given to you some other way. You'd have to learn it on your own, basically. I would give a lecture like this one posted, but you wouldn't have time to ask questions about previous material or this material. So that's a challenge. But when we meet face to face, I will ask you as a class, what you prefer. Do you prefer to have the exam on the 5th, the last, and then the final on the I guess it would be the 9th? Or do you prefer to keep it as it is? Now, I will do whatever the majority votes for. Supermajority, actually. But I think it's wise to keep it the way it is. That's my recommendation. But due to the nature of me adding 2 exams during finals week, I always leave it up to you, the students, to decide which one occurs. So we'll do that together. Oops. There we are. Okay, so that takes care of that. Here's some suggestions for studying and preparing for class. Here's a place to keep track of your grade. And this is what you will fill out and bring to me the next time you see me, i.e. next class. You will fill this out completely, letting me know that you have read the syllabus. You will fill this out completely, making sure that you're aware of the college policies on academic integrity, and that's it. That's the course syllabus. Again, when we meet face to face, I will talk about strategies for doing really, really well in the course, specific strategies, and I look forward to seeing you. The next thing we'll talk about is blood, our first lecture.